I want to talk about Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. Right now, this team's in a tough situation. After this season, regardless of how this season ends, they need to move off of Matt Eburflus and Shane Waldron as well. We have seen Matt Eburflus for a couple of years now as the head coach in the NFL. It's not working. And I understand Justin Fields was not his franchise quarterback, but they went out there, they brought in Caleb Williams. You're dealing with the same problems. They don't have an offensive identity at all. And you have weapons with Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore. Keenan Allen has missed time this season, but when he's been on the field, he's been excellent. And you have Caleb Williams, who I do believe will still be a superstar in the NFL, just not with this coaching staff. They should be at the door of Ben Johnson, knocking down the door and saying, hey, what do you want? We will give you whatever. And if you don't know who Ben Johnson is, he's the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions. When I look at the Chicago Bears team, they have talent everywhere. But that offensive line is a huge issue. This is easily one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. But how many times have we said that over the last couple of years? Even when Mitch Trubisky was the quarterback, they had offensive line problems. They've had offensive line problems for the past 5 to 6 years. But yet they go out there and they allocate a lot of money to the running back position and to the wide receiving position. And DeAndre Swift is a very good running back. We saw them go on a very good run with him against the Los Angeles Rams, against the Carolina Panthers, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Essentially, they gave Caleb Williams a run game, and look at what happened. Now, understand, those are bad football teams in the NFL, sure. But Shane Waldron looked like a better offensive coordinator then. Shane Waldron's a terrible offensive coordinator. It's points and times throughout certain games to where they can't do anything offensively. They can barely cross the 50-yard line. And you can say that Caleb Williams is struggling, and he is. He's not playing perfect. I'm not trying to push that narrative because Caleb Williams does have his own faults. But at the same time, he is a rookie. Shane Waldron is not a first-year coordinator. He's a former offensive coordinator with the Seattle Seahawks. That's why they can him. I understand they brought in a brand new head coach, but let's not act like last season he was doing Geno Smith a huge favor, because he was not. When I look at Shane Waldron, the offensive scheme doesn't make any sense. You go out there and you're letting Caleb Williams throw the football 40 times in a game against the Arizona Cardinals, and he gets sacked 6 times. And Caleb Williams is trying to do a better job of taking care of the football, so he throws the football away or he just takes the sack. You're not helping out your quarterback. Call more screens and get the football out of his hand quicker. And you can't say that Caleb Williams, he's holding on to the football for too long. Look at what he did against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Look at what he did against the Carolina Panthers, Los Angeles Rams, and against the Indianapolis Colts, a game that they lost. He was getting rid of the football at a quick rate. Right now, the offensive scheme is not helping this kid out as a rookie. He's not going to see the entire field because this is his first season in the NFL, and that's okay. Some quarterbacks develop faster than others. I also look at it from this standpoint as well. When they lost against the Washington Commanders, that's the day that Matt Eburflus lost his locker room, in my opinion. Not because Tyreek Stevenson went down there and did something stupid. He's talking to the fans. He's up there talking about some, man, see you, bye, you need to leave early. Instead, he's not focusing on what's going on. And he tips the ball. It goes to the back of the red zone. It's a touchdown for Noah Brown. And they demoted him out of the starting lineup. He pulls himself out of practice. They need to move off of him. He's too immature. Then he comes out in the press conference and I apologize to the team. He should have been cut or traded because what he did was immature and it was selfish. You could have waited a couple seconds and then you could celebrate. That was the game the Chicago Bears should have won. And yet again, I go back a couple plays earlier when they gave the offensive lineman the football. Shane Waldron did that. Why would you call something that stupid? And I understand Refrigerator Perry was a dominant force in the red zone many decades ago. That was a different situation. You have Caleb Williams, you have him giving a football off to an offensive lineman in the red zone. One of the worst play calls easily this season in the NFL, and the offensive lineman fumbles a football. You want to know why he fumbles a football? Because he's not a running back. He doesn't have experience running that play. Shane Waldron is terrible. Matt Eburflus, in clutch situations, one of the worst head coaches in the NFL in terms of using timeouts and personnel as well. He's a defensive coordinator at best. He's a defensive coach at best. That's it. I'm not going to take that away from him because when he was a defensive play caller for the Indianapolis Colts, he did a lot of good things. When he was a linebackers coach, they tackled very well. They got things going. And this is a defense that is still relatively good, in my opinion. You have Jalen Johnson. The thing is with Tyreek Stevenson, very good football player. Even up to that point against the Washington Commanders, had a very good game. He's a true number 2 cornerback in the NFL. He's just stupid right now for the mistake that he made. You look at their linebackers, TJ Edwards, I like Tremaine Edmonds as well. 2 very good linebackers in the middle of that field. You have Montez Sweat. Now, they can go out there and bring in another pass rusher because Montez Sweat can only do so much. They have Darrell Taylor, who they made a trade to get many weeks ago from the Seattle Seahawks. But he's not a true number 2 pass rusher. He's a very good depth piece. That's it. So this defense is not bad. A lot of it is because of the talent that they have. But underneath Matt Eburflus, I will give him credit. Their defense has always been good, especially in the secondary. And their defense took another step up, and they made a trade to go get Montez Sweat at the trade deadline last season. The quarterback's not the issue here. It's the play calling in the offensive line and the fact that you don't have timeouts late in the game. That's on Matt Eburflus. Terrible head coaching, terrible coordinating as well. You can also say that Matt Eburflus did this team a disservice against the Washington Commanders because you didn't rush 4. You went out there and you rushed 3 defensive linemen, and you gave Jaden Daniels more time inside the pocket to go throw the football. You can say that about Matt Eburflus, but at the same time, Tyreek Stevenson went back there and did what he did. Ultimately, that's on him. If he was to go out there and box out the player like he was supposed to, they wouldn't have been in that situation. The fact that he pulled himself from practice because he was demoted out of the starting lineup says a lot about him. I look at this Chicago Bears team. You have all the potential in the world. Long term with Caleb Williams. I do think that he's going to be a franchise quarterback. Ryan Poles has put this team in the best spot over the last couple of years, but he has to get the head coaching right. You had Matt Nagy many years ago. Terrible head coach. Matt Eburflus right now, not a good head coach. Shane Waldron, terrible offensive coordinator. Week in and week out. You need to fix his offensive line and get this kid an actual head coach that knows what he's doing and get him an actual play caller that can go out there and help him hide his weaknesses. Because Shane Waldron is not going to his strengths at all. And you can make the case, well, he's holding on to the football for too long. Guys are not getting open. And he was getting rid of the football at a fast rate against the Jacksonville Jaguars, even against the Indianapolis Colts. And he had 2 interceptions in the Indianapolis Colts game. I go back to that Houston Texans game. Caleb Williams did not play his best. He had 2 interceptions in that matchup. But the offensive line was getting obliterated the entire game from tackle to tackle. Darnell Wright looked terrible in that game. They still lost that game by 6 points. So the potential is there. Even when they're losing football games, it's close. Because they have the talent. They're almost there. Just bring in some more coaching help. Bring in some more offensive linemen. And I promise you the Chicago Bears can be a threat in this division. It wasn't going to happen overnight. I know a lot of Chicago Bears want to see it happen. I want to see it happen myself because I can push the narrative that, hey, Caleb Williams is like that. He's one of those guys. First overall pick, phenomenal quarterback. Right now, you see some good moments of Caleb Williams. You see a lot of bad moments as well. But we have seen a lot of horrible moments with Matt Eburflus and a lot of horrible moments with Shane Waldron as well. Moved off of both of those coaches. And I'm not going to even say move off of Ryan Poles because I believe that he's done a tremendous job. You brought in Montez Sweat. You found a way to finesse the Carolina Panthers out their first round picks. You bring in DJ Moore. You bring in Caleb Williams. He just hasn't been able to find the right coach for this team. I think that you stick it out with him a little bit longer as a general manager. Yeah, he had the entire misfire when he went out there and he brought in Chase Claypool for a second round pick. That didn't work out. But Montez Sweat has worked out. Caleb Williams, you have more time on the clock with him than you would have had with Justin Fields. And he did right by Justin Fields. So more players are going to want to come and play with the Chicago Bears because they're going to do right by you in the front office. That's why it was very essential for them to go out there and trade him to the team he wanted to be traded to. They traded him to the Steelers. They could have easily traded him to a team like the Raiders, and they could have took a higher draft pick, but instead they did not do that. You do right by players. Other players here that around the NFL, they'll be more inclined to come to the Chicago Bears. It's not all doom and gloom. Roma Odunze is showing a lot of potential. DJ Moore, we know that he's a top wide receiver in the NFL. DeAndre Swift, I like his game a lot. You just have to find a way to get him the football and get those rushing lanes open. And this defense, with or without Matt Eburflus, they're going to be okay because the talent is there. Now, Kevin Byard, he's an aging safety for a reason. I don't believe that Kevin Byard is still a top safety in the NFL. He's just a veteran that you have around. Besides Montez Sweat and a guy like Darrell Taylor, you have Andrew Billings and Gervin Dexter Sr., two very good run stoppers. Need to bring in another pass rusher, ideally, for this entire defense to work. I don't believe this team will make the NFL playoffs this season, and I do believe they will struggle against teams that are above 500 with a very good pass rush. But it starts with the coaching. But let me know in the comment section below how you guys feel about the Chicago Bears and Matt Eburflus as the head coach moving forward. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless.